All right. So again, good afternoon, everybody. And for our first meeting of 2023, hope everybody had a good end of 2022. And I know it's been a very busy beginning to 2023 already. So we have a couple of things to cover today. Just kind of get everybody up to speed and kind of regroup, and hopefully everybody's been doing what they need to do on their topics. So kind of a agenda we're going to follow today. Again, just kind of where everybody is at on their topic cycle. Always a good thing to remind folks. Just a little bit of review on terminology so people are understanding what different words mean that are common within the program. There are some updates coming in 2023. And so a couple of things that they're looking at from a program perspective. Nothing changed yet, but just kind of giving you a heads up. The rebate schedule is out, so I'm going to share that with you as well for 2023, and I think it goes into early 2024 as well, maybe some dates in there. And then we'll do the topic and AR. I don't have any AR review. I do have a topic, and I think next on the list was the injury illness reporting topic. So I'll do a quick review of that one. And then next meeting, agenda suggestions, topic reviews. So any input for agenda items, I will take at that time. And if we haven't answered any questions up to that point, there's still any Q&A, and then we'll set up the next meeting date. All right. As always, please unmute and ask any questions anytime throughout, as soon as they come to mind. So I'm sure if you have it, probably a few other folks might have it by now. Same questions. So the topic cycle status. So everybody is in a different place. Some people have recently finished and gotten, a few of you got rebates and are starting another cycle. Some of you are mid-cycle, some of you are coming up to expiry, some of you have maybe a couple of AERs to submit before you close your current action plan. So everybody's kind of all over the place. So you are responsible to track your expiry dates. I try to monitor as best I can, and if I haven't heard from you, I will send you an email saying I haven't seen any topics yet. I've sent out the recommended 365-day cycle schedule, and I highly recommend you follow it. Or what happens is, at the 11th hour, you're sending me 5 topics, right? And if they're not ready to submit, I can't submit them, right? So we run into all those issues that we've talked about many times. So please track your expiry dates and know exactly when it is. If you don't know where to find your expiry date, just log into the portal, look at your current action plan, and your dashboard. It'll say all the action. It'll have a history of all the plans you've completed, and the current one will be there, and it'll have the expiry date there as well. So that's how you can find it. And again, a reminder, some of you are pretty good at preparing your evidence packages, but a reminder that when you upload evidence, do it in a plan package, do check and act if required. And you're allowed a total of 5. So if you need to split one of the packages into 2 uploads, that's fine, because you have up to 5 per topic. So it is much, much easier for a validator if you do it this way than just upload 5 files. And it's not clear which one is for plan, do, check, and act. And that way your upload packages match exactly your evidence story, your PDCA, right? So, and that's exactly what I look at. I'll when I go in to check if you've submitted or something is ready for my review, first thing I do is download the latest PDCA that you uploaded to the portal. And there I will see the list of evidence. So I have that open. Then I open up another screen with your evidence for that topic. And I say, okay, there's 4 things on the list for your PDCA. Where are the 4 things on the upload inside that package. And I open up the package, and if I can't find them, I'll say, I can't see this, can't see this, can't see this. So everything needs to match, because the validator will also be confused as to where everything is, right? And so hopefully you know what a package is now. It's the group of files that you have for evidence under plan, and then the group of files under do, you group them, and people do it different ways. You know, some of them, they're all PDFs, and then they combine the do evidence package all into one PDF, and then you've got like 5 or 6 different items in that, and you combine the PDFs. Some people put everything on a PowerPoint slide, so they'll paste all their documents and pictures and everything, and then save that PowerPoint, and then do a save as PDF for a PowerPoint, or print to PDF, and then you'll have everything in there. So different ways of doing it, and whatever works and is easiest for you. All right. The most important thing that I know people still forget, and is once you have verified that the uploads are there for a topic, change the status from draft to ready for review and hit save. If you don't do that, unless you sent me a separate email, which is probably a good idea, practice that a topic is ready, I won't get the notice from the system that you have a topic ready for my review, right? And then it'll just sit there until probably a couple of days or a week before your expiry date, and I'll send you an email, where are your topics? And then you send me an email, well, I've submitted, 3 of them, 4 weeks ago. Well, how would I know that? Because you didn't mark them ready for a provider review, right? So make sure that you do that last step, or I will never know that you have topics ready for me to review. And that doesn't, provider reviews me. It doesn't go to WSIB until I review it, then I submit it. Okay. If you can't remember how to upload your PDCA or how to upload your evidence, the most recent version, I think you sent it out already. It's accessible probably on the resource library for the ACSESS website. And if you can't find it there, send me an email, I'll send it to you. It's the user's guide to the portal. Walks you step by step to how to do all the stuff on the portal. And last resort, you can call me, I'll walk you through it. We'll set up a Zoom meeting, right? Done that a few times as well. I don't have a problem doing that. All right. So as you're making progress, doing the implementation, keep all of this in mind. If you've just recently selected topics and I'm waiting for a draft of the PDCA, usually that should come within the first 2 or 3 weeks after topic approval. Topics were approved. The draft of how you plan on doing it, please make sure you take advantage of that, because as I said many times, we're 8 months in, and that's the first time I see your PDCA, and I go, oh boy, that's not what the topic is about. You may have not reviewed the topic requirements, and you've spent like 6 months doing something that is not relevant to that topic, and now you've lost 6 months on that topic, right? All because I didn't have a look at the draft ahead of time. That's the draft of the PDCA or the evidence story. So please, I'd like to see the draft so we can make sure we're on the relative right track as you progress on doing your plan, your do, your check and act on every topic. Questions? Track your progress. Keep me posted. Right. I don't see any typing in the chat, and I don't hear anybody. So terminology, right? Just a quick kind of a couple of common words we throw around, and sometimes I get questions that lead me to believe people have mixed up the terminology a little bit. So what is an action plan? An action plan is the list of topics that you selected, which could be anywhere from 1 to 5. And it's basically as per your topic selection form. So the list of the topics you're working on is what the system, what I call your current action plan that is undergoing its current cycle. So you may have noticed I no longer use 365 days because about a year ago, they're now allowing people to do more than one plan within 365 days. So it's really cycle now, right? So when you finish one cycle, you can start another. The only thing you can't do is have two cycles going on at the same time. All right. So that's an action plan, is your topic that all the topics you're working on. Okay. When the status, some people are, when your action plan on your dashboard, so this is not your topic, your action plan on your dashboard shows that the action plan's in progress. Sorry, I got the wrong, let me just fix that here. Just a typo there, because, whoops. Give me a second. All right, fixed it on the go so I don't forget. There we go. So action plan in progress means that you have submitted at least one topic of your topics that you're working on to me, and I have sent it for validation. That changes it to in progress. So once at least one topic has gone into WSIB, your action plan shows that it's in progress. Okay. The next thing that you might see in on your dashboard isn't the action plan is pending closure. And that means that all the topics have been validated. Anything that's deferred has been counted out. Anything incomplete has been counted out. And the board is doing its final review to make sure you still qualify. I mean, you haven't had any fatalities or Ministry of Labor prosecutions and stuff like that. And they're not going to select you for on-site. All that period of time for them to make that decision, your action plan status will be pending closure. Right? And once they've made their decision, it'll switch to closed. Closed means you weren't picked for on-site, everything's fine, and they're processing. You're in the queue from that date, wherever that date falls, you'll go into the queue for the rebate schedule. And you can now start a new action plan. We can start the whole process, which starts with invoicing and all that good stuff, and then topic selection, we just start all over again. All right, as soon as you have action plan closed. And you can start thinking about your next set of topics and coordinating that with me even before closure, so that when closure comes, then we can go onto the portal, upload, pick the boxes, upload the PDCA and get you an expiry date and get started right away, because we're already ready to go. All right. The next is, what is an evidence story? An evidence story is the PDCA, the document that has your narrative for Plan, Do, Check, Act, and the list of evidence. We call it a PDCA form. It's the evidence story, all the same thing. Evidence story, PDCA. We used to call it implementation model. All the same thing. And the portal, basically, they've changed kind of a little bit over time. The main terminology you'll see in the portal is the evidence story. Especially if you're just starting a new cycle or started one recently, you'll notice the portal changed. And you simplified the process, and you've got your evidence, your action plan, evidence story, and that's it, like the tabs. And so that's what the evidence story is, the PDCA. Same thing. Okay. When you're looking at topics, not action plan, each topic, when you in your upload, in your evidence story upload, will also change status as it goes through the different process. So right now, if you go in and you haven't done anything on a topic, it's sitting there in draft. Soon as you upload evidence and you switch it from draft, it'll switch and you do what I just said you have to do the last step. You'll put it into ready for review mode. And remember, once it's in ready for review mode, you can't, no take backs, right? You can't edit it anymore. You can, but you have to send me an email. Oops, James, I forgot to add something to that. Can you please put it back to draft for me? I'll go in, I'll switch it back to draft. Then you can do whatever you want. Then you have to mark it ready for review again. And that's how you can do that. So really don't put it ready for review till it's, all good, said and done. And you're pretty sure that that's all you have for that topic. I get a notice from the portal, and then I review it. And then when I send it in for validation, the status of that topic will go to in progress. That means it's at the board. I've done what I need to do. I've okayed it as best I can, and it's in progress, meaning it's waiting for validation. Right? If a validator is going to do an AER, they'll switch it back to draft. And then they'll put, you'll see on the portal, it gets an AER date, but it goes back to draft mode. That's really, and then it starts all over again, right? You have 60 days, add one, you get one more upload, you put it ready for review. I look at it and it goes again for the second round, right? And at that point, the only option the validator has is, if they're still not happy, is two things, right? Mark it complete. I forgot to put complete on there. I should probably do that. Or incomplete. Complete means validator's okay with it, done, finished with that topic. Incomplete means you didn't even pass the AER stage, and so that topic is not going to be considered on this round for rebate, and you can pick it up again on a future action plan. Right? So let me just quickly, let me quickly add that, because I did forget to put, I should have put complete here, because that is the good news. All right. Right. You'll also, I think they, probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, maybe, yeah, about 4 or 5 months ago, I mentioned at a meeting that for deferrals moving forward, you just have to send me an email saying, James, can you please defer this topic? And I'll go in and defer it. Okay, so you can't defer directly on the portal. I have to do it. And that way we know, we can keep track of what's going on, because we'd go in and get somebody pick 5 and all of a sudden there's 2. Is it what happened? And, or, on my tracking sheet, I have 5, but it's really 2. And it was just, everything was getting a little bit confusing. So the decision was made that all you have to do is request a deferral, and then I'll go in and do it for you. One last thing you need to worry about. And it's also always good if you say, can you defer this topic? We're just don't have time or resource. Like, give me a reason and I can put that in the portal. Okay. And again, deferral and incomplete means you can pick up those topics on a future action plan. If you wish, you don't have to. All right. Any questions? Terminology wise, we're good. Okay. What are they working on for 2023? The recognition of hazard topic. It's under review. So it's one of the level 1 topics. And there was always an issue with it that you're actually doing, if any of you have done it, it's really 3 topics in one, and people will only get technically credit for one when they're actually working on 3 different things. So it's under review, and they're looking at possibility of turning it into 3 topics. So stay tuned. As soon as as soon as they make their decisions, and I'll put it up, on our next meetings for updates. The whole control of hazard topic has been confusing and all that kind of stuff, and how it's selected and validated. So that's also under review for hopefully some further guidance and clarification. And then the topic selection criteria and the category process is under review as well. So, you know, how we have the 5 categories, and, you know, how the topics have to be slotted into a category and all that. So they're, now that they had experience with that for a bit, you know, they're, and gotten feedback from you members and from providers. Those are the 3 priorities for review and update in 2023 so far. That's kind of what they're looking at. All right. So stay tuned. Nothing concrete yet. So business as usual until they come up with the changes. All right. Any questions on that?
I have a question, Jim, in regards to this. The recognition of hazards topic, if someone has already completed it and they change it into 3 topics, will they be credited for all 3 topics, or will they, how will that work?
Highly unlikely, but worth asking. It's because it, you know, they got to go back. It would be a nightmare for them to go back and do that, because to calculate the additional rebate and all that stuff, I can't see them doing that. It'll just be moving forward. Yeah. The only thing I can see is that for your badge, you'll get credit for the 3 if you've selected it previously. But for
Okay.
rebate and extra money and all that, highly unlikely. But again, stay tuned, and we'll see what they come up with. But I just, the complexities of trying to go back and get everybody that's done it in the past and give them a rebate for an extra 2 topics. It's, yeah, probably, I don't even want to think about it. Right. So
Maybe you leave it up to the companies to put in the request and give
yeah,
a certain amount of
I don't
time.
run the program. That's entirely up to them.
No,
Yeah.
but it would be a suggestion.
Oh,
Just a
sure.
suggestion.
And by all means, next time you're on the portal, use that feedback button, right?
Okay.
So we heard rumor, right? This is a, you know, we heard rumor that, don't quote me, but you know, that's what they're looking at. It may turn out they change their mind and they're not going to turn it to 3 topics. So I would just wait until they make a final decision. And then if it does, that's the time to hit that feedback button and give them live feedback. Right now, this is kind of what I've been briefed on in my last one-on-one meeting with our program management consultant, but nothing has been finalized. So we'd be jumping the gun a little bit. All right. All right. Any other questions on this part? So just stay tuned. You'll be the first to know after I know. All right. So print this, because I always get questions, when's the rebate? And so I can say, look at the rebate schedule. So print this slide, have it in your excellence folder somewhere, or as a separate PDF. So you can see that the rebate schedule is a little more complex now. Used to be just that top piece, right? With the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. And that's what it was, right? But when they introduced the small business initiative, they added the other 3 rebates, right? So for those of you who are not small business in the small business initiative, which means you're on the portal, on the class, on the database for WSIB, you're a large firm, right? And you'll be on the regular action plan closure and rebate process. So you can see action plans closure between January 1st, 2023 and the 31st, 2023. You'll be getting your rebates in February of 2023. And usually Don't ask me the exact date, but it's typically the last week of that month. Sometimes they might send it out earlier, but I wouldn't count on it until about the last week of the rebate process date, that last week of that month. Okay. And then, you're lucky if they finish it earlier, the run, there's not a lot of rebates going out. They might be able to get it out a little bit earlier, but don't plan anything before the last week of that month. Okay. And they've included which premium they're going to use to do the calculation. Remember, it's the year prior typically. So, because of the action plans that close in the first month of January, we're probably all done in 2022. They use the 2021 year. Otherwise, everything after that, they'll be using your total premium paid in the calculation for the 2022 year, the year before. Right? So that's the schedule for a regular rebate run, which everybody gets, even small business. That's the first rebate you get. If you're in the small business program, then there's the $1,000 when you join, and that's the schedule for when they issue out the $1,000 rebates. Then there is the double rebate, which is the second rebate submission, which is equal to the one that you already got in the first top schedule. So you'll get one on the top schedule, then you'll get another one in the incentive schedule, because that's your double for the small business. Okay. And then they still have a few retroactives, right? I don't think they've caught everybody yet. The retroactives were people who joined, small businesses that joined prior to the program. They went back and gave them the 1,000 and gave them the double rebate. So those are retroactives, historicals, and they're still catching up, I think, on some. So if you are in that group as a small business, then that's the schedule, the one on the bottom. Okay. So that's the rebate schedule for now. Okay. And now that you know the terminology, you know what action plan closure means doesn't mean your topics, because we don't rebate per topic, we rebate per action plan. So when the board closes it, right? And that's why you'll go on your portal and your dashboard for that cycle, for that action plan, and keep track of the status. And then I believe it even puts the closure date there. And then the status, the bubble will say closed. And then that means you're in the queue. All right. Any questions on the rebate schedule? All right. This is also in a PDF in the resources on the portal. If you ever scroll down all the resources, I believe they put this now as a PDF there as well. All right, I don't hear any questions and I don't see any typing. So topic and AR review from my suggestion or request list. The one that was next up in the queue was a very popular one, actually. Injury illness reporting. All right. So this is from the members guide. I just had it queued up because I knew we were going to talk about it. Page 46 of the HSEP members guide. And these are, so the first thing you always do, go to your topic and go to the topic requirements, see what they expect you to do. And this covers all reporting, not just Ministry of Labor, it covers WSIB and Ministry of Labor. And so your topic would cover all the reporting requirements. Okay. They even, specify here in your procedure that you should have definitions. You should make sure you cover fatalities, critical injuries, da, 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 da. So there's some good examples, roles and responsibilities, when to report illness or incident, notifications, who, internally, externally included, what treatment is provided, and recording requirements. So this is basically the table of contents of your standard or procedure. Okay, you can add anything you want, but if anything from here is missing, then you would might get an AR if it's pretty major, right? Because your program doesn't meet the topic requirements. So you got to have the minimum. The other thing that you should know, and one of the reasons some folks have picked it is because I mentioned, I think earlier on last year, that the Ministry of Labor, Training, Immigration, and Skills and Development, they've added I now, immigration, had published in 2021 Regulation 420. And so they repealed the critical injury reg. Critical injury used to be a one-page reg, and they replaced it with Regulation 420, and that has the ministry's reporting requirements. And so if you haven't updated the reporting piece, a policy or a procedure, whatever you have, to align it with the 2021 regulation, then you can pick it as a topic and under significant gap, right? Because it's no longer in compliance. You're probably missing some of the key requirements of regulation for 2021. And so by virtue of being out of compliance, that would qualify as a significant gap. Now you do have to re-implement the whole topic anyways, but you get to do it again with a focus on making sure that you incorporate the regulatory requirements. So keep it in mind, make a note. And even if you don't pick it as a topic, you may want to print that reg and make sure that your current documents and people understand all the different reporting requirements that are in that regulation. And that would be part of this. So don't confuse this topic with the next topic that is which is investigation. Okay, here is just reporting. WSIB Form 7, critical injury, occupational illness, injury, fire, accident, explosion. That's all. It's all in the Reg 420. Okay, except the WSIB has its own reporting. So that's what this topic is about. And then this one is dedicated to investigation and root cause analysis and all that kind of stuff. And that's why a lot of people do those two topics together. And that's why typically when I have ever written the policy, I write one to cover reporting and analysis. And so if you have that, and you can do the topics together if they qualify within the topic selection categories for you. But at least this one, there's a good justification for a significant gap if you would like to do it again. Okay. And then once you are clear and you know exactly what the topic requirement is, you can then go and take a peek at the sample evidence story, right? In the sample evidence story document. So remember, there's a sample for every topic, right? And so you can get a flavor again for what they're looking at. You don't have to follow it. It's really to help you, give you some ideas of how to go about plan, do, check, and act for this topic, right? So here they reiterated why they selected it. And then really it's always, we went about updating our current, or we created the reporting procedure, and it included which is what is in the members guide, right? So you can actually put that in there. And then the evidence for this is the policy and any reports, blank versions. In plan, we just put all the blanks, right? Then the do, right? So you set out to train everybody, communicate it, you share the standard and procedure, and then you make the forms available, right? And then you start collecting samples of forms that people submitted. So even though this is not the investigation topic, but the investigation document is a report. That's how they report it to you internally, right? And so a sample of that, sample of a Form 7 with all the names and private information logged out, just to show, not only did we train people, but we're doing the reporting, right? The proper reporting using the proper form. And that would be the do stuff. The check, here they waited 6 months. I usually, don't make you wait that long, but at least 2 months, you go back and you do your check. So you can use the evaluation checklists that I've been sending out template. You can do interview, you can do survey. You can have the joint safety committee kind of review the whole policy, how it's going. Right here, they did an audit. They took a random sample of 5 reports and audited those reports. Were they being reported on time, properly, that kind of thing. So that's how they the approach to evaluate. I usually find, the easiest way is the checklist approach, where you create a checklist based on your procedure, and then it's yes, no, yes, no. You make comments, you document how who did the check, how it was done, and any opportunities for improvement on that document. So some cases that could be an easy way to do a check. People kind of get stuck on this, or I find most of the comments I'm writing back on draft PDCAs or even final is on the check. A lot of people put do evidence here. That belongs in the do. They put it in check, right? And so you can't, and if you did a quiz in the do, you can't submit it as check because the quiz is a do, right? Right after the training. It's not 8 weeks after the training. It's like 2 minutes after the training. So it can't serve there. Now you can redo the same quiz 2 months later to make sure people remember. Then yes, a redo 6 months of the same quiz is a good check. Right? So keep that in mind for all future topics as well. And then remember here, acknowledge, you could say we thanked everybody for filling in forms properly, whatever, I don't know, whatever you do, you can put a statement in there. And then if there are any improvements from the check, here's where you write them, and then we upload evidence to show that you carried out that improvement. All right. No improvements, then you write your standard statement. The results of our check showed that we are following our procedure. No improvements at this time. We'll continue to monitor. And there's no evidence to upload, of course, in that case. All right. Any questions? All right. So if based on what I, reviewed, it's a possible topic for you for next cycle, make a note and keep it in mind, make your whole topic selection a little bit easier as you're keeping in mind. You should be doing that all the time when things come up, initiatives that you're going to need to work on, for the future. Anyways, regardless of whether you're in the excellence program or not, always an opportunity to discuss it and can we fit it into the program, especially as a control of hazard topic, right? So, so always keep that in mind. Any questions on anything? All right, I don't see or hear. Next meeting, check-in and updates. Next meeting agenda suggestions. Anybody have a topic review that I can add to our list? I can see what's coming up. Next one on the list is the 3 return to work topics. So there's 3 WSIB related one for the next one on the list for the next meeting. If you have any others, let me know. I will add them. If not, I'll kind of randomly pick some of the more popular ones to do reviews. All right. And I'll keep an eye out for more AERs as they come in to share them as well for next meeting. Looking at probably March 23rd. It's a Thursday again. And